Welcome to Miles Ahead, the Canadian Points Podcast, brought to you by FrugalFlyer.ca, where we talk about all things miles and points, a hobby that allows us to travel all over the world in style and on a budget. This episode will cover all the recent points and miles news, and as per usual, I'm joined by my regular co-hosts, Josh and Jeff.
Happy to be here, Danny. Lots of news this time around. Lots of very interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, lots to talk about.
Yes. So we're going to kick things off, something close to the Edmonton home base of Frugal Flyer, with WestJet and Virgin Atlantic now teaming up to form not only a earning partnership, but also a burning partnership. So Josh, as our lead Edmontonian, please tell us what's going on with WestJet and Virgin Atlantic.
This is another case where WestJet has an interesting partnership. So we've seen it in the past, and we've talked about it on the podcast where, WestJet and Delta, WestJet and Flying Blue, and now we have WestJet and Virgin Atlantic. So as of February 17th, there's now a partnership between WestJet and Virgin Atlantic. And as Danny mentioned, you can now earn and redeem across both carrier networks, which is very interesting. WestJet still is not part of a formal alliance, but they do have a lot of kind of partnerships like this, which are interesting to take advantage of. So with this partnership between WestJet and Virgin Atlantic, you can now redeem WestJet points towards Virgin Atlantic flights, which offers a unique opportunity. There is something to note, though. If you are redeeming Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles to book WestJet, you actually can't do that online yet. You do need to call in. So there is, an additional step that needs to be done there, just to be aware of. There are award charts published for booking WestJet with Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles, and there is a business class award chart published, which was very interesting when we saw this news came out, because there's not really a great way to book WestJet business outside of using WestJet points. However, even though there's an award chart, those seats are not yet bookable. So you can't book any premium cabins on WestJet with Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles as of yet. It would be great to see that development come down the pipeline because, Virgin Atlantic miles are pretty easy to earn if you're involved in the United States. But as it stands right now, not a possibility. Hopefully it'll come soon.
Yeah, really cool to see that they have that award chart, even though you can't redeem for it. So hopefully a sign of things to come. But in some less exciting news and some less intriguing news, Marriott is back out with a new global promotion. So we've become used to it in the past few years of having a double elite qualifying night promotion sometime during quarter one or quarter two of the year. And they're back with the promotion again, but Jeff, it's a little bit different this year. And unfortunately, different is the kindest way that I can put it.
Yeah. No, this is the one that everyone's waiting for every year. It's still going to be okay, I think, if you can line up a decent amount of trips or nights during this promotion. It's not great. It's one elite night per brand now instead of just a flat one elite night stayed for the entire duration of the promotion. So yeah, it's a big step down from what we're used to. I'm honestly not surprised. There was just too many. There was just way too many elite nights being handed out. Obviously, the number of elite members has ballooned in recent years. So that's probably the reason why we're seeing a change to the promotion this time around. The promotion runs from February 25th, so it started about a week ago. And it's going to be running till May 10th. It's for paid stays only. And I think there's around 35 or 36 Marriott brands now. So you can still rack up a decent amount of bonus elite nights through this promotion. It's going to require a lot more running around, though, obviously. So
yeah, I think
take advantage of it as much as you can. Yeah.
I personally have structured a few stays to maybe adjust a few different brands, yet a few extra nights in there. It's not anything quite as revolutionary as the previous promo was in years past, but some value. And you do have to register for it. So make sure you register. Go on your Marriott Bonvoy app or online and click to register and take advantage, and hopefully gets you a little bit closer to that next level of status.
Yeah, I think it's worth noting that even though it's only one elite night per stay that you get a bonus for now, versus if you had a 5-night stay, you would get 5 elite nights as a bonus last year and in previous years. They have increased the number of points, depending on. So for a 1-night stay, you used to get 1,000 points and that one elite night. Now you're getting 2,500 points and that one elite night. So we're going to talk about it in our March 20th episode, which is kind of dissecting the Marriott Bonvoy program as it sits. So if you're kind of on the fence of whether you want to stick with Marriott Bonvoy, look for that in a couple weeks' time. If you're listening to this right when it comes out, or if you're listening to it after the fact, you can head back and take a look at episode 35 of Miles Ahead. For somebody like myself who has the Bonvoy Bevy card, and I get an extra 1,000 points for every stay, this makes one-night stays particularly rewarding, especially if I'm staying at a place that gives me bonus points upon check-in. So like at a Fairfield, for example, you'd get 500 points when you check in, I believe, if I'm remembering my terms and conditions correctly, and I get 2,500 points, and then I also get another 1,000 points from having the card. So I'm getting 4,000 points and 2 elite nights from a one-night stay. There are some pretty cheap Fairfields out there. So not saying that it's going to be mattress run worthy, but if I was considering, or if you are considering doing any mattress runs, having that 2,500 points for one night, basically $40 worth of points for a night that might only cost $80 or $90. So not all bad. Moving on from Marriott, we now have some Air Canada news. So Air Canada has now officially added ITA Airways as a redemption partner, and you can also earn new status qualifying credits. So SQCs, or status qualifying credits, you're not going to earn a ton from flying on partners. It's pretty pathetic, like 12% of what you used to be able to earn with SQCs, but every little bit is going to count. The elite benefits, stuff like checked bags and lounge access, are going to officially be available later this year once the airline joins Star Alliance. But at least you can tack on some connecting flights within Europe. I've already seen them start to pop up because I've been doing award searches. But hopefully some of that long-haul availability will come up sooner rather than later, because ITA business certainly looks nice. But that's not the only Air Canada news. Jeff, we've also got some Air Canada news about new plane types, and that also means new seat types coming.
Yeah. So Air Canada has announced that they're going to acquire initially 8 Airbus A350-1000s, and then with the option to add 8 more if they want. Always exciting when there's a new aircraft. I don't know, like, I love flying on the A350. I'm sure you guys do. It's one of my favorite airlines.
Absolutely.
Airplanes to fly on, for sure, yeah. And I don't know if you guys did you guys watch the little teaser video that Air Canada published on YouTube when they made this announcement?
I didn't actually, no.
So during the little video, they did a little animated map showing of where these new planes might fly. And I don't know if this was Air Canada doing an intentional tease, or they're just showing where these airlines or airplanes could theoretically fly. But I saw Toronto to South Africa. I saw Vancouver to Western Australia. It looked like maybe Vancouver to Singapore or Indonesia, Jakarta maybe. So I don't know if I'm reading too much into what they released in their little teaser video, but kind of cool if we can, because that's the kind of routes that this aircraft is designed to fly. So some new route opportunities for sure. And some new seats too, probably.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, sometimes reading into it could be correct. Either that or their marketing team was like, screw it, just show the planes going somewhere on the map, right?
Yeah.
But that would be cool. It'd be neat to see, and I agree wholeheartedly. A350 is a fantastic plane, and new seats is always a welcome refresh. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Should be good. Whether we're going to see those Toronto to South Africa routes be priced not dynamically sky high yet remains yet to be seen. But that is a story for another time. The other new news, Jeff, unfortunately, his prediction from December of 2025 is completely in shambles. And Josh, why might that be?
I feel like we're beating a bit of a dead horse for poor Jeff over here at this point between last news episode and now this one. But now we have, official news that there is a new co-branded airline credit card coming. It's not a could be. So Neo Financial will be launching a United Airlines co-branded card in the coming months. Not too surprising to see it be Neo Financial. For those of us who've been around a bit of time, this happened similarly with the Cathay Pacific Asia Miles card. It used to be under RBC and now it's with Neo. So Neo seems to be kind of going full steam ahead in acquiring these co-branded cards with various partners. We haven't had a United Airlines co-branded card before in Canada, so this is quite the new addition. There is currently a waitlist bonus of 5,000 miles, so if it is a card that you might be interested in, sign up for that waitlist so you can be notified when the card is released. We do know some details about the card so far. Of course, more details will come as we get closer to that launch. So they do say there will be bonus miles on Star Alliance bookings. We don't know what the specifics of that is at this point outside of exactly what they've said. But it does come with some fairly typical co-branded airline card benefits such as priority boarding and a free checked bag, which are always super popular benefits for anyone who holds those Aeroplan, Porter, or WestJet cards. When we look to the United co-branded cards in the United States, which are issued by Chase Bank, down there, cardholders receive additional Savor award space for Polaris business class and discounts on award tickets. While we don't have any news if that will apply to the card in Canada, it is an indication that we may see something like that to more closely align with the United States. So it's an interesting development. More co-branded airline cards are great. Personally, I'm probably not going to be running out to get this one. I mean, to be determined on the welcome bonus, of course, and the annual fee. We there's so many unknowns still, but not a big United Airlines user personally.
Well, I think that the timing of this is very telling, that this was announced right at the end of February, and in mid-February, United made headlines south of the border with that they were kind of completely changing their loyalty program, and that if you wanted to engage at the highest level, you really need to have a co-branded credit card. And what I think they mean by bonus miles and Star Alliance bookings is currently, if you book United Basic Economy, or you booked any flight that is a Star Alliance flight through United.com, and it's a Basic Economy flight, you're going to earn 0 miles, even if you put your United Mileage Plus number in there. And they explicitly said in their press releases south of the border that if you have a United co-branded card or are a United status holder, you're going to earn 3 miles per dollar. And then it goes up from there as you book different levels of fare class. So to me, this is timed extremely well, that they're changing their loyalty program and they want Canadians to engage in that new loyalty program. So they're making the same benefits and the same terms and conditions applicable north of the border as they are south of the border. So the one thing that I think is pretty interesting is the ability to get the Savor Awards base for Polaris business class. Polaris business class is good. It's, food isn't going to blow you away, but the product is really solid, especially for getting to places like Australia. We used to see a lot of availability pop up at the last minute for Air Canada Aeroplan users. That has pretty much entirely dried up. So being able to book that Savor award space, even if it's 90K or 100K one direction, is better than not having any access to that. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but with the downfall of Hyatt and kind of some lack of award value leaving the conversation there, if you have a bunch of Chase Ultimate Rewards points that transfer to United, this could be a great way to take advantage of that by having the United credit card. So one thing that I found particularly interesting, just to cap off this segment, is that they are going to offer a secured version of this card. So if you have somebody in your family that maybe isn't quite old enough to have an established credit profile or has had credit history issues in the past, this could be a great way for them to enter the points and miles game without necessarily needing to put their credit on the line, so to speak.
Yeah, and Neo's pretty consistent too. When they offer secured cards, they're pretty damn similar to the normal version too. So it's one of the few really issuers in Canada that does that. So kind of a neat opportunity for some people there.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we see a nice big welcome bonus, and we can actually use that welcome bonus to fly on Polaris business class.
I was just going to quickly mention, this is Neo, and I know they've done this in the past where if you've had any product from them at all, you haven't been eligible. I think this was the case with the Cathay card. You weren't eligible for the welcome bonus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they do that again, that's going to really, really make this card a tough sell, in my opinion. So hopefully we don't see that this time around.
Well, if we do, like, I don't really understand the goal. Like, I understand the goal with that a bit from miles and points, but like for the average person, like all it does is frustrate people. So I don't really get the gist of it. Like, who's to say someone doesn't want a Cathay card and a, United Airlines card at the same? So I don't know. It's weird, but I would lean towards Jeff's prediction being true. Unfortunately, he's got one right prediction, and that might be it with that one.
Well, I know we've talked about United for far too long on a Canadian Points podcast, but my final thought on this, to Jeff's point, is if there would be one partner that could change the way Neo does business, it's probably United. Like, Cathay Pacific does not care, right? They just want to have a co-branded credit card in Canada. But United has so many successful cards south of the border, and they know the value of selling their points. I feel like if Neo started shutting down people because they've had a Neo Hudson's Bay card in the past and now they can't get a United card, I feel like United would have something to say about that. But only time will tell.
Hope you're right.
That's not the only card news that we have that's exciting. Josh, we also have a few specific bonuses for FlyerFunds coming up in the next little while.
Absolutely. So we've launched both of these already. So we have a super limited time offer on the BMO VI Porter World Elite Mastercard. We're offering $175 cashback rebate through Frugal Flyer. That's still paired with the 70,000 VI Porter points welcome offer, and including the first year annual fee that's waived. And that's running till the end of March. So if you're interested to add this card, it's a great time. $175 cash back is a fantastic offer. And then we have a second offer currently running on the BMO Ascend World Elite MasterCard. So this is more of an exclusive offer that we're running. I'm not sure if any other sites have this same welcome offer, but it's 115,000 or up to 115,000 BMO rewards points, and coupled with $175 cashback rebate, and that will be running throughout all of March and all of April. So if you're interested in either of those cards, it's a great time to add it and get a little bit more cashback in your wallet for no extra effort.
Yes, some very nice extra Flyer funds to incentivize you to apply for both of those cards. But more new card news. Jeff, Tangerine is partnering up. Well, I wouldn't really say partnering up because these companies are already owned by the same parent company. Yeah. But there's something new happening with Tangerine, is a good way to put it.
Yeah, no, it's no surprise that Tangerine is partnering up with Scene Plus. Tangerine is a subsidiary of Scotia, and Scotia's been a longtime partner of Scene Plus, so makes sense. We don't really have any details other than Tangerine says that there's going to be a new rewards credit card released in spring of 2026 that are in Scene Plus points. So we know at this time that this is actually Tangerine's first card that's not a cashback card. It's their first rewards credit card. So nice to see them expanding their portfolio. And we don't really know much about it right now, but we'll let you know when we do.
Yeah, it's an exciting development. I'm curious if they're going to keep it no fee, like no annual fee, as they've done as kind of a, bank that's within that space. I don't really know what to expect, but I think it will be very interesting. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, could be a great way to earn hopefully a big chunk of Scene Plus points. I do find it kind of funny that the bank that has only issued cashback cards ventures into the rewards world with a rewards currency that is essentially just cashback.
Pseudo cashback. Yeah, exactly. For what it's worth. You're right.
Yeah, so that's a little bit ironic. But moving south of the border, we've got some World of Hyatt major changes. Now, this isn't going to be applicable to many Canadian points and miles enthusiasts, kind of only the top 10% of really hardcore users. So if you have ventured into the World of Hyatt ecosystem via the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, you can consider yourself stamped officially a hardcore user by myself, Danny, of the Frugal Flyer team. But essentially what's going on is we used to have just 3 categories of Hyatt award pricing. So you had off-peak, I can't even remember what was it, the middle one called. It was regular. It was definitely not called regular. Does anybody actually remember that?
Standard, I think you're thinking of.
Standard, yes. Thank you, Jeff. We had off-peak, standard, and then peak pricing. And the new system is going lowest, low, moderate, upper, and then top. A very strange choice of words. Yeah. Who knows what marketing genius came up with that? It would have been much better to have off-peak, low, moderate, or standard. Like, at least keep one of the words the same.
Lowest
so that I didn't
and
get
low.
lost in myself.
I don't know, man.
Well, that's how I'm feeling after these changes. How about that? Basically, we're going to see some huge pricing increases, like 20 to 40%. And then you can also have properties that are going to range from, 12,000 points a night on low up to 45,000 points in top. So if we kind of take the average value of a Hyatt point and say it's, let's say, 2 cents, that could be like $240 worth of points for a 12,000 point night. Or if it's 45,000 points, that's $900 a night in terms of Hyatt point value. So you can say that they still have an award chart, but this is as dynamic pricing gets without actually making it labeled dynamic. So we won't spend too much time talking about it because ultimately it only affects probably 10% of our listenership, and there's lots of other news sources that have covered this. The only thing that Chase has kind of done to make this a little bit better is they've added another new hotel transfer partner, but Jeff, it's really not that exciting, is it?
No, it's not. So Chase has added Wyndham Rewards as their newest transfer partner. Transfers at 1-to-1 rate. This is not something you really ever want to pursue, I don't think. Wyndham often sells points for 0.7 US cents per point. So transferring at 1-to-1, you're basically downgrading your points at that rate, because or at least I typically aim for 2 cents per point for Chase Ultimate Rewards. So I guess it's nice that they're offering a new transfer partner. Maybe we're going to see some huge transfer bonuses that might change things, but at a 1-to-1 rate, not a great deal.
No, not a great deal. And it's important to remember that if you are one of the 10% hardcore users, TM, Danny Burkett, you can redeem your Chase points at 1 cent per point just by cashing them out as a statement credit. Yeah. So if you buy Wyndham points on sale at 0.7 cents per point, you're actually making a transfer bonus for yourself in a way, if you follow my math on that.
Yeah, that's right.
So you'd be much better off just buying Wyndham points if you really want them and cashing them out. The only way I could see this maybe being worth it is if you're like me and you stay in a lot of crappy Super 8 hotels by necessity of work, then capping off or topping off your account with a small transfer rather than having to buy a minimum 3,000 points or whatever it is that Wyndham has could be of value, but definitely not a replacement for some major downgrades in Hyatt. Now, Josh, we've got some more new credit card news. It seemed like between the beginning of February and the beginning of March, we've got, if I'm counting correctly, 2, if not 3 official launches of new credit cards. And Rogers has entered the realm with the first World Legend Mastercard in Canada. Please tell us the details.
It's pretty wild that we're seeing so many launches in such a short period of time. Normally, Canada gets like 1 or 2 cards a year, and you're like, wow, new cards. Everyone seems to be going all out lately. So for those who aren't familiar with the World Legend brand of MasterCards in Canada, since it is our first one, you can think of it most similarly to the Visa Infinite Privilege cards, which we see with many issuers having in Canada. We just don't have a lot of MasterCards in Canada, so I guess we've never launched one of these. So Rogers has launched the Rogers Red World Legend MasterCard. So the card comes in, it's a premium card, comes in with a premium annual fee of $495. It does have 2% cash back globally if you have an eligible Rogers service. Otherwise, it earns 1.5% cash back. Similar to the other Rogers cards, it does have that 1.5 times bonus when redeeming cash back towards Rogers services. This is one of the few cards, and we're seeing this more with premium cards these days. It actually has no foreign exchange fees, which is always a nice benefit to see. It does come with a hefty $200 Rogers entertainment credit that can be used towards Rogers services. So if you're all in on Rogers and that ecosystem, maybe that makes sense. It also offers 10 Roam-like home days per year, 6 Plaza Premium passes for your airport lounge access, a Soho Friends membership, which we did a bit of searching before the episode to understand what this is, and essentially it's discounts on Soho hotels. So that might be of value depending on how you travel and where you stay. There is, however, no mention of any welcome bonus at this point. This is not really abnormal for the Rogers card. I think we've seen some welcome bonuses over the year, but a lot of the time they don't offer them. So if you want to compare this to kind of another card in Canada, it's very similar to the Wealth Simple Visa Infinite Privilege that is still kind of rolling out in chunks over a period of time. The main difference and kind of where Wealth Simple might win out in a comparison is that it has a lower annual fee of $240, which is pretty reasonable for a premium card like that. And it's actually waivable if you hold a set amount in your Wealth Simple account. So I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion on this new Rogers card. I think it might be for someone who's super deep in the Rogers ecosystem, but it's a little bit of a hard sell because it's so similar to their cards that have no annual fee.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that we've got a Rogers entertainment credit, $200 a year towards Rogers services. But then you still get the 1.5 bonus redemptions for when you apply your cash back to Rogers services. So it's like almost eating into it. It's like, how much of Rogers spends do you have that you're going to be able to use $200 a year, but then you're also technically reducing your cash back ability to, get 3%, quote unquote, of Rogers cash back if you're taking $200 a year right off the top. So maybe if you travel to a place internationally that doesn't accept Visa, well, this could be of use, but I'm not sure how widely that net is cast.
It's kind of an interesting, because so often what we see with premium cards is they're travel focused, right?
Yeah.
And so seeing something like this, we don't really have anything like in Canada, so maybe, there is a market for it. Who's to know? They did the research. But I think we're just so used to seeing premium travel cards where you can, for people like us, it's pretty easy to do the math and say, hey, this makes sense, right? You get a travel credit, you get some lounge access. The earning rates might be really good, and you might earn Aeroplan points or something at a high rate. I don't know. I'm not a cashback guy when it comes to cards, so I'm not the target audience for this at all, to say the least. But I do think, for what it's worth, I think the Rogers cards with no annual fees cover a lot of the stuff that's offered with this. So I still think those are the winner. But we'll see. Who knows if they change those cards up now that this one's on the market, right?
Yes. Yeah, they could make those cards worse by adding another card that does the same thing to the fold. So, Rogers, we appreciate you bringing the World Legend Mastercard brand to Canada, and we'll see how it plays out over the next little while.
Hopefully we see a bonus on it. I think that would make it even more compelling. So,
yeah,
to be
definitely
seen.
All right, some Frugal Flyer specific news. Well, I shouldn't say Frugal Flyer specific news, but one of the things that Frugal Flyer is known for in Canada is that we will help you get your ITIN. And starting as of February 15th, we now have confirmation that you can now get certified true copies of your passport with a seal from the Government of Canada. So previously, probably for about the last 2 years, maybe even a little bit more than that, certified true copies of a passport were not coming with a certified true seal. And that made some issues when you were applying for your ITIN. The U.S. government didn't really like that they didn't have that seal on them anymore. Josh, what are the specifics of what you need to do to get one of these copies that has a certified true seal?
For sure. So you do need to go on the Government of Canada website. The process has to be done fully online. You can't walk into Service Canada for this. Essentially, you're able to fill out this form online, and then you do need to mail your passport in. So you will be without your passport for a period of time. So just make sure you plan travel around that. They do state that the processing time is about 20 business days. However, there is obviously the mailing time on the front end and back end to receive the passport and copies back. So be aware of that. We haven't seen anyone go through this process yet, just because it is such a new development, but in chatting with Reed, who's our resident ITIN expert, he's pretty confident that this should function as it used to now that we have the wet seal or the wet stamp on it again. And obviously, like Danny said, it's much preferred this way versus having to mail your documents to the United States and to the IRS to have that ITIN processed, just due to risk of loss or being without major documents for a longer period of time. So something to look into if you're still on your journey to getting an ITIN. And if you do ever have any ITIN related questions or are looking to get an ITIN, you can always reach out to ITIN, that's ITIN, at FrugalFlyer.ca, and Reed would be happy to answer any of your questions.
Very good. Hopefully some newly minted ITINs and some more people becoming hardcore 10% point users.
Absolutely.
Jeff, we're going to finish this episode off with some news about Flying Blue and simplifying their points expiry. I doubt too many people before the addition of Flying Blue as an American Express Canada transfer partner at 1-to-1 had this issue, but they have simplified things, and it's just worth noting that it's going to be easier going forward to manage your balance.
Yeah, I never really understood why Flying Blue even did this to begin with in the first place. It never made any sense to me, and I guess they agree because they're making the change. Previously, miles that you earned, Flying Blue miles that you earned, were classified under different buckets. So for example, flying activity and other were two separate buckets of points, other being, say, transfers from banks, points that you maybe purchased, etc. And each of those separate buckets had a separate expiry date. Now, going forward, as of May 4th, all points are pooled into the same bucket and have that 24-month expiry date. And then any eligible activity that you have will extend that validity for another up to 24 months going forward. So you no longer have to kind of juggle two balances. I didn't really find this to be a big issue if you're redeeming fairly frequently. But it's just nice to now have that single unified expiry date for all your points.
Yeah, one less thing to keep track of, right? Yeah. It's tracking one number, and obviously, I know we talked about it before. Like the Brim Air France KLM card was great for keeping it active, but you could also just pop 1,000 miles over on a transfer it now or any other way and keep it active. So great to see. Love consumer friendly change.
Yep,
definitely. And actually, on the topic of the Air France KLM Brim Flying Blue MasterCard, Jeff, you previously held that card, or at least were going to tell us that you previously held that card. Did you ever go ahead and actually end your relationship with Brim? Or do you still claim to be, or you still classify yourself as a card holder?
No, I did have it, yes, and I have since closed the card.
And just for anybody listening out there who maybe has it and is in a similar position to yourself, was it a difficult process? What was that like?
No, really quick. No wait time on the phone. Card was canceled within a couple of minutes. And the nice thing about Brim is that they will refund any prorated annual fee on the card when you cancel it. So kind of nice if you're thinking about doing it. So you're not really going to lose out on anything if you close it before your anniversary date. So yeah, no, totally straightforward.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Miles Ahead. We thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us give you the update on all the latest points and miles news. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Reviews in particular do help us a lot, and we read all of that feedback, so we very much appreciate it. If you have a question about anything we discussed, please leave a comment on the episode page at FrugalFlyer.ca, or if you have a question that you'd like us to answer on air, you can submit it at FrugalFlyer.ca/podcast. Bye, everybody.